explain a bit the message behind Heroes of War?
Yeah, that was, I watched a documentary called The Ground Truth, and it was sort of interviewing all these different troops that came home from the war in Iraq or were still active duty. And they were just telling the stories of what had happened to them in Iraq, what they did, and how it really affected them, you know. And I felt like these stories needed to be told in song. You know, I felt like so many bands from the Vietnam era, whether it was Creedence Clearwater Revival or Bob Dylan or I don't know, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, you know, or Neil Young. There's so many artists from that era. Not only wrote amazing anti-war songs and songs about the war in Vietnam, but these songs became the big hits that like people like us were all raised on. You know, like we all know a CCR song, we all know, you know, a Bob Dylan song, and it became this sort of informative tool to teach people about what people were really thinking back then in terms of the 70s and late 60s and the Vietnam War. And I felt like they really did a great job of documenting that time, you know, as an alternative viewpoint to what the history books were saying. And I looked around and I didn't see anybody in our own cultural landscape of this generation really putting what was going on in the world today into a song, you know. And I feel like I wanted to tell these soldier stories in a song, not just for our generation, but perhaps for the next generation to know kind of what was happening. And the inevitable, you know, goal, hopefully, being that we learn from our mistakes.
Do you think, like, because it's a slow song, that it's like more powerful in a way, and like it's more prone to being mainstream as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Someone can like listen and
right.
hear the lyrics and
it's
be like, that's a nice song, but then they hear the lyrics and
exactly. It's kind of
the message.
It's the proverbial bitter pill covered in sugar. You know what I mean? It's like a way to get people to listen to it. You know, and you know, right? And exactly. And it was a story that I wanted it to be coherent. I wanted you to be able to understand it. I wanted to take people on that journey and really hook them and take them all the way to the end and figure out what's going on. And sometimes in like a 3-minute screaming punk rock song that may not be as apparent, you know. And so this song was sort of an answer to that.
So you're talking about Anti-Flag who've got like similar views. Is it like important? Do you pick who comes on your tour? And, you know, like,
yeah.
Especially how the kind of scene's changing. Do you think it's some bands are more about an image and they don't really have a message?
Yeah, I mean there are bands that we certainly identify with. There are bands that we identify with more than others, that's for sure. And the bands that we tour with are representative of that. You know, we just got off tour with Alkaline Trio, Thrice, and the Gaslight Anthem, amazing bands. Now with Anti-Flag and the Flowbots. We're going to Australia with the International Noise Conspiracy. We're doing a tour this summer with Rancid. You know, it's really important because it's about. For selfish reasons, we want to be on the road with good bands, obviously, and people we hang out with. But more, you know, we want to impress upon our fans what an amazing scene there is still out there. We want to bring Anti-Flag to our fans. We want to bring the Flowbots to our fans. We want to bring Gaslight Anthem or Thrice or Alkaline Trio to our fans who might not know who they are. You know, we want to bring the Riverboat Gamblers or Billy Talent, you know, to our fans and show them the entirely different side of music that perhaps isn't as represented in like mainstream media or things like Kerrang or alternative press. You know, there's this entire genre of music that's not, you know, fashion based and, you know, based on just sort of superficial things. There's some really cool artists still out there.
Unfortunately, I've noticed like a lot lately with package tours. You tend to see 3 to 4 bands that might sound a little similar, maybe look very similar, have a lot in common, and it's always seemed. With our tours and with the bands we take out, there's always a diversity there. You know, there might be something common thread as far as a political stance, or maybe even not. But you're going to get a different package. You're going to get different bands and an entertaining show. You know, I think that's really important.
I've got a few fans' questions.
Yeah, sure.
What's your favourite place to travel to? Like not just on tour, just in.
I really like Western Canada in the summer. Not in the winter so much.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like Ireland, Dublin, Ireland.
Yeah, that was fun.
Twice now. I love that little city. It's amazing.
Who's the old man in the band?
Like,
You.
no.
You mean in age or in
Like
act?
just kind of, you know, like old mannerisms and Just
Oh.
like
That's definitely not me. I'm the oldest in
grumpy
age. I'm the oldest in age, but I don't know.
I'm a grumpy old hermit, so yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the old man there.
What's the weirdest thing that's happened on tour?
All kinds of weird shit happens.
Buck, we have a guy out with us, Buck, who does various things, and he got bit by a squirrel. Which, who gets bit by a squirrel? That was a little weird. Yeah.
Everything has an ending, but the sausage has two.
Who's learning Austrian?
Yeah.
How do you feel about having Under the Knife in the film Never Back Down? How did that come about?
That was crazy. They just approached us, and we're all about getting our music to people, and turning them on to what we do. And so we said yes to that. We do some movies, and we do a lot of video games too, because it's movie like cinema and video games. Are such a huge part of people's lives, and so it's definitely a good way to reach them, especially in a day and age where no one's buying records, you know what I mean, or people aren't listening to the radio anymore, and so you have to look for alternate outlets for your music.
What's your favourite venue and favourite crowd?
Favorite venue? Well, my favorite venue is the Metro in Chicago. Grew up there, and the Chicago crowds are pretty great. So I don't know if you heard that.
For me, it's not there anymore. But there was an old place called Trees in Dallas, where I'm from, and I played there 1,000 times. Same deal. Just it's a place you grow up, and it's where when you're a kid, it was the biggest. That was where you played. You got big and you made it. You played there. It's like the Metro in Chicago, or Trees in Dallas. But it's no longer there. But yeah, I just grew up loving that place, and unfortunately, it's small. Relatively speaking now. So.
When are you back in the UK after this? Do you know? Got any plans?
Maybe in August.
Leeds Festival? Leeds Ready?
I'm not saying shit.
We don't know.
Yeah. I don't even know what Leeds Festival is.
I don't
Do you?
either. I have
never heard
no
of Leeds
clue.
Festival.
We just, with the bus drives places, we get out and play.
We show up.
We don't
Could
know
be
anything.
Singapore. It could be Cleveland.
Could be Leeds.
Could be Leeds.
But it very well could not be as well. Mm-hmm. Yep.
What are your next goals?
A lot of touring. After this, we do Australia, Japan, Hawaii. We come back to Belgium to the
back to
Graz Rock tour.
Graz Rock. We do Rancid.
Bamboozle.
Bamboozled in the States.
Bamboozle in New Jersey.
Yep.
The whole Rancid tour across North America.
Yep. Then we have some stuff we're doing.
We're definitely doing European festivals in August that are already on our website, so people can check that out. And then after that, who knows? We have a split 7-inch out with Anti-Flag right now that we're selling at these shows. Or not even selling. I think if you just buy something, you get it for free. And then yeah, it's an unreleased song.
Yeah.
And then what else?
Then we're all gonna take up surfing.
Yeah.
And we'll hang gliding. Do things like
Our
that.
stage manager is a surfer, so he's gonna teach us.
Yeah.
Hopefully. It's hard. Surfing's hard. It's real difficult.
There's not many places here to go see.
Yeah, I guess not. Not in Chicago either. So.
Yeah.
Finally, have you got a message for your fans?
I guess just thanks for all the unbelievable and overwhelming amount of support and love that our fans have given us. We have the best fans in the world, and they're incredible people. And the more we meet them and get to know them and see the familiar faces in each town, the closer we feel to them, and the more it just sort of energizes our band. We live off that fuel that the audience gives to us every night. And so we have awesome fans, and we look forward to staying with them for a long time.